Okay, hello folks. My name is Mark. This is Why I Hate the World. My peoples, where you at? How you guys doing? So, lots of stuff to talk about in the world today, but I think we really need to concentrate on the downfall of the United States because that is history being made right in front of us. For years and years and years, the insane conservative conspiracy theorist right wing in this country have been basically creating an entire culture around how one day the elites and the powers that be in the government of the United States were going to turn us all into a dictatorship. And now that it's actually happening, they seem to be cheering it on because it's being done by their favorite Cheeto-dusted orangutan, Donald Trump. So, say what you want about Donald Trump. You know that I am not a big fan of his, but he does command a following. He has some kind of uncanny ability to, I don't know what it is, just draw people to his side. Like that's the thing about dictators, is that they're usually very charismatic. And for some dumb fucking reason, Donald Trump can say the stupidest things, the biggest, most blatantly untrue lies, and get away with it. And not only does he get away with it, people will just look the other way. Even when they know what he's saying is not true, they just don't care. And I don't know why. I don't know what that is. Like, how does that happen? Is this a thing that, for example, other dictators were able to do? Like, was Adolf Hitler able to just, like, say blatantly untrue things and just get away with it? And, like, nobody fact-checking him? I mean, I guess that's probably part of it, right? It's probably due to an unwilling media that is not willing to challenge power, along with the type of star power that celebrities usually get. And when you're the leader of the country, you're kind of like the biggest celebrity. Like the president has always been the biggest celebrity. That's just a normal thing. President takes a dump and it makes the news. So maybe that's part of it. I don't know. But what I do know is that this culture of just letting Donald Trump get away with saying shit and not fact checking him, that's really contributing to the downfall of our society, because Donald Trump is a goddamn moron. And here's the thing about it, folks. I don't think he's an unintelligent person. I mean, if you look back, right, at young Donald Trump, like in interviews that he does in the 80s and 90s, he seems like a sensible person back then. I mean, yeah, okay, he's like a rich asshole racist back then, just like he is today, but he seemed like almost like a normal human being. He seemed like he had good opinions about certain things and economics and stuff like that. He wasn't like a complete deranged fucking Adderall-ridden lunatic like he is today. And it's because he's old. He's what, 79 at this point? He's got a few marbles rolling around in his head. That's not an ageist thing. It's just true. When you get that to be that age, your brain ain't what it used to be. I'm not saying this because he's old. I'm saying it because it's the fucking truth. He's like fucking one step away from like, full-blown fucking dementia. Has been for a few years now. So it kind of makes it hard to determine if he's just like having a dementia, like an episode of dementia, or if he's lying on purpose. But I think that there's one thing we need to consider. I think that we should consider that the people around him are lying to him. And so he thinks, for example, when he says certain things, like say, for example, the price of eggs have been cut in half by 50% or something like that. When he says shit like this, he actually thinks it's real. And I think that's something we need to consider. Donald Trump has surrounded himself with yes men, sycophants, and butt lickers who stand around all day jerking him off, telling him how fucking great he is. And so that's why he doesn't understand how badly the things he's doing are fucking everybody up and destroying the country. want to bring to you an example. This is True Social, which I hope I didn't end up on some kind of list by going on True Social. But this was a few days back. So Donald Trump had an interview last week talking about Abrego Garcia. And this is the tweet that Donald Trump put out. I guess, well, what do you call it when it's a true social? You call them truths? That's fucking stupid, but whatever. Donald Trump in the Oval Office showing the hand of Abrego Garcia. So, of course, a little catch-up. Those of you who live in other countries where shit is normal and not falling apart like in the United States, Abrego Garcia was the innocent man who was deported wrongly, who had a court order saying he was not supposed to be deported. He was deported anyway to a notorious prison in El Salvador, where we have no idea if he's being tortured or beaten or what. We know he's alive because a senator went down there last week, but I'm sure you know what's going on. It's like kind of the biggest story in the news for the last couple weeks now. And there was a Supreme Court decision saying that, hey, you got to get this guy back, and Donald Trump is disobeying the Supreme Court, which means, in my opinion, he should be fucking impeached and kicked out of office, but the Republicans are pussies and they're not doing anything about it because he's their dictator, see? But anyway, let's go ahead and read this. This is the hand of the man that the Democrats feel should be brought back to the United States because he is such a fine and innocent person, in quotes. They said he is not a member of MS-13, even though he's got MS-13 tattooed on his knuckles, and two highly respected courts found that he was a member of MS-13, beat up his wife, etc. I was elected to take bad people out of the United States. Among other things, I must be allowed to do my job. Make America great again, in caps. So, here's the thing, folks. Abrego Garcia was not proven to be a member of MS-13. That's bullshit. This is all lies. There were not two court decisions that said that he was a member of a gang. That's bullshit. And the truth is that Abrego Garcia is not a gang member. He was never in a gang. So there's no court decisions saying that this guy was a gang member. And if you look at this picture that Donald Trump is holding, it says MS-13, right? Now, this is obviously photoshopped onto here. This is not the actual tattoo. And I think a child can tell that they just added this here. And the idea is that, well, it's supposed to show what the tattoos mean. Like, this marijuana leaf is an M, this smiley face is an S, the cross is a 1, and the skull for some reason means 3, which I don't really know why. Like, I guess you could say, okay, marijuana starts with an M, smiley face starts with an S, and then this cross, even though it's a cross, not a 1, could be 1. But how the fuck does, like, a skull mean the letter 3? That doesn't make any fucking sense. But anyway, this is the photo that Donald Trump shows. And you would think that, okay, it's obvious that this is not what those tattoos actually mean. Because if you've ever actually seen an MS-13, like, gang member, they don't have tattoos in code. They cover their entire fucking faces. This is what an actual MS-13 tattoos look like. See that? See how they put them on their faces, just big M's and S's and shit like that? See all these things, like, this is what it actually looks like when you're, like, in this gang. Huge, giant tattoos over the whole thing. And the point is, the reason why they get them on their faces like this, right? The idea is that, well, that way you can't go back. It's like you're dedicating your entire life to the gang. You don't get little tiny cute cartoon tattoos on your knuckles to hide your affiliation. You wear it loud and proud. So this is obvious bullshit. You would think, though, getting back to my original point, that there would be no way that anybody with a brain would think that the actual text here, MS-13, is the actual tattoos on this guy's knuckles, right? Well, that's not what Donald Trump thinks, because in a recent interview, Donald Trump doubled down on that. He does not seem to understand that this was just there as sort of like an annotation.
He wasn't a member of a gang. And then they looked, and on his knuckles, he had MS-13.
There's a dispute
well, wait a minute. He had MS-13 on his knuckles tattooed.
Oh, he had some tattoos that...
Is Donald Trump, does he actually seem to think that the MS-13 is actually on his knuckles? It kind of sounds like it, right? I mean, am I delusional here? Does Donald Trump think is Donald Trump actually saying, "Oh, these tattoos on his knuckles were in code"? Because that's not what it sounds like. Let's continue on.
That are interpreted that way, but let's move on.
Wait a minute. Hey, Terry.
He did not have the letter MS13.
It says MS13.
That was Photoshopped. So let me.
That was Photoshopped, Terry. You can't do that. Hey, they're giving you the big break of a lifetime. You know, you're doing the interview. I picked you because, frankly, I never heard of you, but that's okay.
So you get that? So the journalist here does the smallest of pushbacks. And here's the thing. I don't know who this journalist is either, but obviously Donald Trump knows who he is, or else he wouldn't have done the interview with him. And you notice the first thing Donald Trump does is just insult the guy. As soon as the guy pushes back just the tiniest little bit, Donald Trump just instantly goes for the insult, because that's what he is. Because remember, Donald Trump is a narcissistic asshole who has spent his entire life having his dick sucked by everybody around him because he's rich. So the nanosecond somebody actually says something he doesn't like, he takes it personally. And his only go-to is to attack. You notice that Donald Trump at no point in this interview or any other interview does any kind of self-reflection at all. He never, ever says anything that like, oh, maybe I was wrong. Maybe we could re-examine that, you know, whatever. No. Never, ever, ever admits that he's ever wrong, never actually apologizes for anything like that. That is, first off, the classic signs of a narcissist, right? Just right off the bat, that's like narcissistic behavior. I'm right, you're wrong, fuck you if you don't like it. Even when it's completely obvious that what he's saying isn't true, like it is in this instance. It is obvious that this guy's tattoos are not real. And it's making me think that, okay, because the photo of it is clean as day. So does he just not know that that photo isn't real? I mean, maybe. Remember, he's old. He's like 79 years old. So Donald Trump has no idea how Photoshop works. He doesn't even fucking know what Photoshop is, for fuck's sake. He has no idea how to fake a photo or like that AI generates photos. He doesn't know any of this shit. All he knows is somebody told him that photo was real that he was holding up there. And so he thinks it's real. So when a fucking journalist shows up and says that was Photoshop, that's not real, his first instinct is to say, well, this journalist has an agenda. And he attacks the journalist. That's what it looks like to me is actually going on here. Let's continue.
Picked you, Terry, but you're not being very nice. He had MS-13 tattooed.
Right, we'll agree to disagree. I want to move on to something else.
Terry, do you want me to show you the picture?
I saw the picture. We'll
and you think it was Photoshop? Well,
here we go.
Don't Photoshop it. Go look at his hand. He had MS-13.
He did have tattoos.
He really fucking believes it. He actually really believes it. He doesn't understand that photo was, that text was put there as like an annotation so that the viewers at home could see, oh, these are what the tattoos on his fingers mean. He doesn't understand that. He thinks those tattoos were real. Now, even if you buy the fact that, okay, somebody's lying to him about it, how can you be so fucking dumb as to think that that photo was the real thing? Let's continue.
Tattoos that can be interpreted that way. I'm not an expert on them. I want to turn to Ukraine, sir.
Terry,
I want to get to Ukraine.
No. He had MS as clear as you can be, not interpreted. This is why people no longer believe the news, because
when
it's
he was
fake
photographed
news.
in El Salvador, they aren't there. But let's just go on. They aren't there when he's in El Salvador.
They weren't there, but they're there now, right?
No,
but
they're in
now.
your picture.
Terry,
no, they aren't there now.
He's got MS-13 on his knuckles.
All right.
Okay?
We'll take a look at that.
It's you do such a disservice.
We'll take a look at that,
Why don't
sir.
you just say, yes, he does, and, go on to something else?
It's contested.
You get that? Oh, why don't you just say yes, he does? Because it's not true. It's not true, you giant fucking imbecile. Like, why don't you just say it's true? Because it isn't fucking true, you idiot, because you're a moron. And I really think here, at this point, like, I really think Trump doesn't know that it's not true. Like, I really think so, because a fucking baby could tell that it's not true. A child could tell that it's not true. That's not really what his hands look like. But you notice that he just doesn't back down. at all. And then this reporter here is doing us, he's the one who's actually doing us a disservice, right? Because like Donald Trump says, oh, you're so doing a disservice. The reporter is the one doing us a disservice by not pushing back on Trump. What a reporter should have done in that situation, he should have said, no, that's not true, right? He should have just stuck to the actual facts and said the facts are that this fucking tattoo is not, it does not actually say what you think it says. And that photo was photoshopped. And no matter what Trump says, even if Trump gets up and ends the interview, fine, fuck it. You're a journalist. You're supposed to have integrity. Part of being a journalist means you don't lie to people. You don't spread things that you know are not true, like Donald Trump is doing. And this journalist, in order to keep the interview going, was like, okay, fine, we'll look into it. No, fuck you. It's not true. There is such a thing as, objective fucking truth. And Donald Trump is not spreading the objective fucking truth. He's lying. And I personally really think it's because his staff is lying to him. No, I think he was told this is real. And then in his fucking, dementia-addled fucking brain, where he can't understand what Photoshop actually is because he has no fucking clue, because his whole life everybody's just done everything for him, I think he just bought it. I think fucking Stephen Miller came up to him and said, see, look, he's actually a gang member. And then Donald Trump just went with it because he's being lied to by his own fucking staff. I mean, I also think that even if he was, smart enough to understand that was, fake, he'd probably still go with the lie. Don't get me wrong, right? I'm not trying to absolve Donald Trump of responsibility for spreading lies here. But I think that's a big part of it. I think a big part of it is that his staff, his people that he surrounded himself with, are just spending all day, every day, licking his chode so that they can enact their racist agenda, which he is the leader of. So I'm, once again, not trying to absolve Trump of responsibility. Donald Trump is 100% responsible for all of the crazy racist shit that is going on in this country. But the truth is, folks, the truth is that this policy, this has Stephen Miller written all over it. The whole deporting fucking legal immigrants thing, that's Stephen Miller, all right? The whole thing with the tariffs and all of that, that's fucking what's that asshole's name? Peter Navarro, that's his name. That comes from Peter Navarro. Donald Trump doesn't fucking know any of this shit. Donald Trump has no idea what tariffs are. Donald Trump doesn't care about immigration and what's legal and what isn't. He's doing what his staff is telling him to do because his staff is telling him this is how you have to save America or whatever. And the fact that he's a racist fucking moron who has no clue how economics work just fits right into it. This is what happens. You notice that his first term, yeah, he fucked everything up, but the worst policies didn't go through because the people around him convinced him otherwise, right? Well, now we have the worst people ever as part of his staff. Pam Bondi, Peter Navarro, Stephen Miller, and so on. The worst people who have dangerous ideas that will fuck this country up, and that's what's actually getting out there now. That's part of it as well, that Trump is not intelligent enough to know these things aren't real. And I also really think that he's just not smart enough to realize when people are lying to him. Here's another example of that. Fact check. Trump says egg prices are down 50%. President Donald Trump promoted his tariff hikes in an April 2nd Rose Garden address. He veered back to a favorite 2024 campaign topic, egg prices. Here's Donald Trump talking about egg prices.
Great job you did on eggs, by the way. The egg prices came down 50%. You got them down 50%. Once we got involved, they were going through the sky. The egg prices, they were going through the sky, and you did a fantastic job.
Egg prices, of course, did not go down 50%. Now, wholesale egg prices actually did go down a little bit more, actually, by 63%. But at retail, no. Retail egg prices did not go down by 50%. They're still pretty goddamn expensive. Here's, of course, Donald Trump still talking shit about egg prices.
With the first day that I was president, somebody started screaming at me that eggs are up. I said, I just got here. And in the first week, they were going crazy. You remember that, Linda? Yes. They were going crazy. They're saying, egg prices are too. I said, I'm here for 1 week. Just leave me alone. This is a fake news radio. And I said, what can I tell you? But Brooke Rollins, our Secretary of Agriculture, and a group working with her have done an amazing job. And egg prices have gone down 87%. Energy now is down $65 a barrel. They have some energy selling gasoline for less than $2 in a couple of states.
So first, it was that egg prices went down 50%. Now they're down by 87%. And he's saying that gas is now beneath $1.98 a gallon. This is Donald Trump. Gasoline just broke $1.98 a gallon, lowest in years. Groceries and eggs down, energy down, mortgage rates down. Employment strong, and much more good news as billions of dollars pour in from tariffs. Just like I said, we're only in a transition stage. Just getting started. Consumers have been waiting for years to see pricing come down. No inflation, the Fed should lower its rate. None of that is true. Absolutely none of this. Gas is not $1.98 a gallon anywhere in the country, even when Donald Trump posted this. Here, I want to show you something. This is fuel prices, according to AAA. They have a nice little map where you can see in each state what the average price of a gallon of gas is. $3.16. And it's really kind of cool. You can click on, for example, a state, and you can see what the average is there. California, of course, is like the most fucking expensive. $4.77. It's actually a little bit cheaper than that near my house. Even in states where gas is pretty cheap, usually. Texas, $2.74. Missouri, $2.80. Alabama, $2.70. And nowhere in this country, anywhere, does it actually go under $1.98. Or even, no, not anywhere close. Where did he come up with that? Why is he saying that it's $1.98? Somebody told him. Somebody told him, and he just bought it. He didn't bother to do any checking. He didn't bother to vet if this information is real or not. He doesn't care. Is he just lying? Is he too stupid to know that it's not true? Or is he just like believing what his guys tell him? I think it's a combination of all three. But I think the biggest part of it is that he's just believing what he wants to hear because he's in denial. It's pretty fucking obvious that the economy is going to shit right now. And it's because of Donald Trump, and it's because of Trump's policies. And it's because of fucking the tariffs and all the other dumb fucking bullshit that Donald Trump has done in the last 3 months. It's pretty fucking obvious to anybody with any brain cells to rub together that this is what's fucking going on. Because the economy was actually not half bad before he took over. I mean, economic indicators were looking good. Wages were up. Yeah, inflation went up for a bit, over the last 2 years. I'm not going to lie, that's a problem. But it had evened out for like the last 8 months or something like that. Inflation had evened out. Right? And it was back to the levels of where it was before the pandemic. Egg prices went up because of the fucking bird flu. And they had to basically cull chickens in order to stop the bird flu from spreading to human beings and causing another fucking pandemic. Which, by the way, Donald Trump completely reversed that, by the way. That whole policy gone. The CDC is not doing shit to stop things like bird flu anymore. So chances of there being another pandemic is astronomically high here. I mean, here's hoping it doesn't happen, but I don't know. I mean, if it did, I wouldn't be surprised because they're not doing shit to fucking protect us anymore. But that's another a subject for another video. It's no, that none of that stuff. It was great before he took over. I mean, okay, I'm not going to say it was great, but we were in pretty good shape in December and January. And all of the shit that's happened with layoffs and the stock market crashing and shipping freezing up from fucking China, All of that happened because of Donald Trump, because of Donald Trump's tariffs. Whether they're on or they're off or whatever. It's like, it would have been better if he just would have laid the tariffs down and just kept them. And yeah, okay, some trade would have stopped. But here's the thing, right? What's really killing business right now is the uncertainty. If we just knew what they were going to be, then businesses can plan ahead. Things will be more expensive, but they could still import stuff and they'll just pass the cost along to the consumer, that's what happens when you have tariffs, because they're the same thing as taxes. But that's not what happened. It was first they're on, and then, okay, they're suspended. Okay, now they're back. Okay, they're suspended again. And when you have that back and forth like that, then you can't plan sufficiently for your business. If you don't know what the cost is going to be, then you can't set a price. Then you can't import it. And there's just story after story after story of small businesses suffering because a large business can buy shit in bulk and reduce that cost and not have to raise the price so much on their customers. A small business cannot do that. A small business that's working with small margins, if suddenly they order a shipment of widgets or whatever from China and that price goes up by 134%, they're out of business. So a lot of them are just folding up shop, or they're just laying people off, trying to weather the storm in order to keep themselves from going under. They don't know what to do. They can't anticipate the fucking trouble that's coming. And so now you're seeing things like shipping from China completely drying up. Now it's the ports in Seattle and in Long Beach and in Los Angeles are ghost towns now because no new products are coming in. And we don't feel it now, but we will. We will in about a couple of weeks. It's really not going to take long for shelves in retail stores around this country, in Walmarts and Targets and things like that, to start drying up. And when that shit happens, it's the fucking recession is on. People are going to get pissed. You guys remember, not that long ago with the pandemic, how people started panic buying, how it was impossible to get your hands on fucking toilet paper. You guys remember that? I remember seeing a story about how this one lady went and she bought the entire store's fucking stock of toilet paper. Just bought all of it. An entire huge ass truckload of it. And was selling it online. That's the kind of shit that's going to happen. But it's going to be for normal, ordinary products. Stuff that people get from China all the time. And if you think it's only going to be okay, toys and electronics and whatever, I bought my laptop early. No, it's going to be everything. I mean, because we don't manufacture shit in the United States anymore. We haven't in a long fucking time. And it's okay, well, the tariffs are there. This is what the MAGA person is saying to me, right? They're going to say, well, the tariffs are there to bring manufacturing back to the United States. Okay, yeah. Well, how long is that going to fucking take? What, 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years? How long is it going to take until we ramp up manufacturing here? And how much is it going to cost? I'll give you an example. Nose strips. Okay. Nose strips. Those things that you put on your nose to keep yourself from snoring at night. Those things, they cost $20 for a pack of, 100. How much is that going to cost if you manufacture those in the United States? $30, $40, $50? People in the United States, there's a standard of living, and people don't work for less than a minimum wage, right? So the reason why this shit is so cheap is because people in China, the minimum wage there is a fraction of what it is here. And it's yeah, this is a shortcoming of capitalism. We could get over this, right, by having a UBI, right? I mean, here's our options, folks. We either have a UBI that pays for the necessities that everybody in this country needs, rent, food, whatever, medical care, or we raise prices and manufacture everything here. This is what our options are going to be. So it's going to be 5 times as much for a product that you would get from China. See, outsourcing manufacturing doesn't just mean the job gets outsourced, right? All of the things that come with it also get outsourced. The cost gets outsourced. The environmental impact gets outsourced. Do we want to have pollution in this country, like the kind of pollution that they have in China, right? In order to manufacture shit. It's like, I'm not saying it's good or bad. A lot of my leftist friends are going to turn on me and say, you know, well, these are all bad things and we shouldn't be like sending these things overseas to China anyway. It's like, yeah, okay, that's fine. Half of the shit you're wearing comes from China. Half of the things that you own and buy are manufactured in these, these offshore factories that you say are so unjust. You still consume these things. You have to. There's no fucking choice. You can't get a laptop anywhere that isn't made in China. You can't buy clothes that aren't manufactured in China. Stuff like that. You can't get toys that aren't made in China. Like, people don't understand. Like, we're basically uprooting the entire fucking trade system of, like, the world. Okay, maybe it's a good thing that it is going to get uprooted. Maybe we need to make this change. Well, in the meantime, a shitload of people are going to suffer. Jobs are going away because of this. And the Republicans are not putting in the proper types of safety nets in order to keep people from fucking ending up destitute. Do you think they're going to give a shit if you can't pay your mortgage? Fuck no. Do you think they're going to do things like stop evictions when it's impossible to find a fucking job because, like, trade has dried up? It's like, you know, trade isn't just buying and selling stuff from other countries. You know, there's hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of satellite jobs that go around the entire thing. Everything from running the store to, like, the corporate side of it, you know, business managers and shit like that, and business analysts and data analysts and all that other crap, to people that running the websites, and it's all connected. And this is going to reverberate through the economy. They're going to, like, have to downsize now because they're not able to provide the product that people want. Prices are going to go up because the demand is still going to be there, because people still need this shit, you know, that we're not getting anymore, right? People still want toys. They still need cheap Chinese goods. So the prices for the stuff that does come in is going to go through the fucking roof. And it's like we're facing the worst case scenario, which is stagflation. Prices are going to go up. Wages are going to go down. Jobs are going to go down. This is going to lead to, if we're lucky, a recession. So you should start saving your fucking money, folks. Any of you out there right now, if you're employed, hang on to that job. Right? Hang on to that job with everything you got, because it's going to get tough to find a job very soon. It's already starting. It's already starting. I'm seeing stories on Reddit and elsewhere where people are saying, like, oh yeah, my company, I'm a hiring manager, and we put out a job offer and fucking 8,000 people replied to it. Like, you're going to start seeing shit like that. They're going to start using AI to just kick out your resume. So, like, it'd say, oh, this requires a bachelor's degree. And if you only have an associate's degree, it just automatically kicks it out. You don't even get considered. Like, stuff like that. It's like, it's going to get extremely tough. And the job market is going to suck. Everything's going to be more expensive. All because of Donald Trump. All because of Donald Trump. And here's the thing about it, folks, is that the MAGA people are still going to support him because they don't care about the truth. I don't know. I was going to take a full part of this video, this live stream here, and talk about, like, a whole section where, like, his cabinet is sitting around stroking his ego, saying that he's the best president ever and all this other bullshit. Maybe I'll save that for next time. I just want to tell you guys, folks, you know, stay strong, be ready. Right? Be ready for when shit hits the fan, because it's going to hit the fan here very soon. And when they tell you that you don't have any rights, tell them to go fuck themselves. Because this kind of, like, economic disruption does not just happen without disruptions to society like this. This is going to come with riots. It's going to come with protests. Those protests are going to turn into riots. The Trump people are going to take this opportunity to try and seize total power. This is it. Like, fascist movements get accelerated by economic downturn. Maybe that was part of the plan to begin with. I don't know. But I do know that the time to fight is here. make sure you're on the right side of that battle, I guess is all I gotta say. Anyway, folks, fuck Donald Trump, fuck Stephen Miller, and don't let him lie to you. This country may be fucked up, but it's ours, and we gotta do everything we can to save it. Adios, everybody. Hello folks, if you like what I do and you want to support the channel, please consider buying something from my Etsy shop, supporting me on Patreon, liking and subscribing, and checking me out across my social media links listed below. Thank you all so much, and see you next time.